Hello and welcome to the December 1st, 2011 edition of Newswatch. I'm Victoria Self.
And I'm Kevin Rounds. Coming up on Newswatch, find out how the minimum wage increase will affect Ellensburg businesses.
Also, what problem is Kittitas County having with their budget?
We'll also take a look at what the future holds for the old Albertsons building.
All this and more coming up on Newswatch.
Though Black Friday hit record highs in sales, Ellensburg businesses are still affected by the economic slump. When the minimum wage increases at the beginning of next year, businesses will have to find ways to stay on budget. Newswatch reporter Macy Enger is seeking employers out to find out what changes will be made.
Gerald's Book and Supply Company is a family business that's been around for over 50 years. But now the business must think about cutting hours, hiring people with the skills already in place, and not giving pay raises, all due to the yearly increase of minimum wage. Gerald's manager, Rolf Williams, says that this increase will change the work environment, especially since wages are the #1 expense beyond products.
I mean, unless we can raise our prices, which we are it's hard to just go ahead and raise prices. You're expecting to pay $12.95 for the book. It's marked $12.95. We can't exactly make it go up 10% to cover minimum wage. So in the end, it does impact people, and it impacts people's jobs. And what it means is there's probably fewer hours available for the number of people we will remain.
Starting January 1st of 2012, minimum wage will be $9.04, which is a 37-cent increase from 2011. This means that stores may have to find new ways to stay open. Director of Economic Development, Ron Criddlebaugh, says that even though Black Friday sales this year were at a record high, it doesn't necessarily forecast a better economy next year.
Some of our businesses right now, especially our retail businesses, they are really right on that borderline of surviving. And so their only choice is going to either be to cut back on hours or lay people off.
Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Macy Enger.
The 2012 Kittitas County budget season started out with a lot of stress this year. The county needs to cut down spending and generate around $3 million this year. State and federal cuts are offering no relief to the county budget. Here with us today to talk about the budget is Bonnie Davidson. Welcome, Bonnie.
Hi.
So what is the problem with the Kittitas County budget this year?
Well, there are smaller amounts of funding coming from state and federal this year. The state budget is making an additional $1.7 billion cut to budgets on top of the $4 billion cuts last year. County Commissioner O'Brien says that contrary to Governor Gregoire's belief that counties are not giving up enough, the county has been giving up plenty. There's about 5% less in revenues this upcoming year, but a 10% increase in spending. The extra spending is for improvements and purchases needed for the county, such as emergency vehicles.
Go ahead.
The county was short in general funds between $2.8 and $3.4 million. The commissioners and employees met last week and found ways to close the gap by cutting spending. Vehicles will not be replaced this year, and the county will be slower to hire new employees. Talks of wage freezes and changing health care benefits were placed on the table for discussion.
Will the county be losing jobs due to these budget cuts?
There will be no job cuts due to budget cuts, but there were talks of possible wage freezes and hiring freezes. The county was able to close the budget without those actions. Instead, they took out levies from the fund balance and one from county road funds. The fund balance is leftover funds from the previous year. O'Brien says that from the previous years of cutbacks, the county employees are already working harder because positions have been consolidated. What were 2 jobs for 2 people is now 1 job for 1 person.
How were the cuts handled last year?
Last year, the county moved funds around, considered layoffs or wage freezes, but when updated revenue projections and property taxes came around, it wasn't necessary. The county did freeze money going to employee health benefit funds, but also when positions opened up from retirement or someone leaving, they just didn't fill up some of those positions.
How can we find out some more information about the county budget?
There's a public hearing for Kittitas County budget on December 5th at 6 p.m. in the County Commissioners Auditorium at the County Courthouse. The budget is also posted on the county website under the auditor's notice of a public hearing.
Thank you very much, Bonnie, for enlightening us on the county budget situation.
Thank you.
New details now in the ever-continuing story surrounding Morgan Middle School. One local group is shelling out cash to study a potential renovation. Newswatch reporter Nick Griswold has more on this developing story.
Modernize Our Morgan is shelling out $15,000 of its own money to look into a renovation of the existing Morgan Middle School building. The group has contracted Bassetti Architects of Seattle to draft a report on the reality of this renovation. Bassetti Architects will provide a non-objective evaluation of the facility. The district has already looked into renovating themselves, but Superintendent Paul Ferris claims the cost outweighs the benefits. While the district would have a seismically sound building, it would still lack technology and other modern features students need. A report should be issued in the next 30 days. In Ellensburg, I'm Nick Griswold reporting for Newswatch.
Many have wondered what the future of the old Albertsons building here in Ellensburg will be.
CWU is one of 5 parties interested in the purchase of the property. Newswatch reporter Kim Fairbanks is in the field with more information on the status of the building.
I'm here on the corner University Way and North Ruby Street, where Albertsons once operated for 45 years. The store has been closed now since February 2nd, and the Catholic Church Diocese of Yakima, who owns the building, is in discussion with 5 different parties interested in buying the property. Father Robert Seiler, Chancellor at the Diocese of Yakima, says that the church would like to sell the property and that it doesn't have a use for the church at the present time. As you can see, it's turned into what seems to be free parking for local college students. One of the interested parties in buying the building is Central Washington University. Central's Director of Public Affairs, Linda Schackler, says this Friday, December 2nd, the Board of Trustees will meet and the Central's Vice President for Financial Affairs, George Clark, will present information on whether the purchase of this building will be feasible for the university. Schackler says at that time, the Board of Trustees will either say yes, no, or go get more information. I'm Kim Fairbanks, reporting for Newswatch.
Coming up on Newswatch, find out about the Ellensburg Environmental Commission's changing role.
Also, we'll take a look at a new study focusing on the rules of the road. Stay tuned.